Welcome to Proof of PR, your passport to the world of public relations for teams building on chain. I'm your host, Kelly Weaver, CEO of Melrose PR, a leading provider of crypto communications and PR strategy, and founder of Bitwire, the modern newswire reimagined for today's comms professionals. Get ready for an inside look into the future of finance, technology, and entrepreneurship from those driving innovation in our space. Join us as we learn how they generate headlines, cut through the noise, and grow their brand awareness through media placements, press mentions, and thought leadership. These are the stories behind their success. This is Proof of PR.
I'm Nikki Brown, Chief Strategy Officer at Melrose PR, guest hosting today's episode with Cath Jenkin, Opinion Editor at Cointelegraph. Welcome, Cath.
Hello, Nikki. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be chatting to you today. And I know that this conversation is probably going to be bit parts laugh, bit parts serious, but I hope that your listeners will actually learn something from it, because I do like to teach.
100%. No, they have so much to learn from you and all of your experience and, of course, your current position. So, first, fill us in a little bit. What got you to the place that you're in now? How did you get into this crazy industry, and what led to, your current role as opinion editor at Cointelegraph?
It's actually all a really funny story. So in South Africa, where I am based, in Durban specifically, one of my best friends is a man named James Preston. He works for Supra now as their marketing. I think he's their head of marketing. Anyway, James and I go back longer than I can think, and he started to get involved with a project that was then called SA Crypto, which became Global Crypto. And for their first summit, and this was about 8-9 years ago, for their first summit, I was obviously going to attend because the space had always been interesting to me. But then I was like, and I have the kind of relationship with James where I can do this. I said, no, I actually want to be involved. So let me come and do your live stream for you. Let me come and help you out. Let me get involved and what have you. And pretty soon after that, we launched the then SA Crypto, but then became Global Crypto website and community. It was backed by this amazing online community, and I became managing ed there. Mentored some junior writers, some incredible talents, and that was really my entry into the space. My official entry, I had always been kind of on the outskirts, and that's kind of how it started. And it went from there. From there, I started working on several blockchain projects, doing media and comms and what have you. And now that I'm at Cointelegraph, it's actually really hilarious because Cointelegraph and I had been talking for 6 months before I started. We were like, we need to find something that works for me and works for them. And it just so happened that Opinion had a vacancy. And they were like, Kath. And I was like, yes. And since then, it's been a dream come true. I work with the most dynamic, wonderful team. I also do contribute to the features team as well, with an incredible editorial team and colleagues. And it's just, I am so happy and content and challenged and learning every day. But being part of the team is just, it's a life experience. It really, really is. I feel extremely blessed.
That's
So
amazing.
that's
Yeah, no, everyone has sort of a winding path to get to this space because, of course, for any of us, it's not a job or an industry that existed when we were young. If someone were to ask, "What are you going to do when you grow up?" or "What industry are you going to get into?" wasn't an option. So
It's so funny that you say that, and I'm going to boast for a little bit, if you don't mind. My daughter is a second-year university scholarship student. Okay, and she's studying strategic brand communications. And last night we actually found out about her full scholarship yesterday, so it's very fresh in my mind. And so I'm like, she's incredible, like academically, just but just incredible as a human being. Like I sometimes think, sure, you man. And she said to me straight up yesterday when we were talking about like her future and what have you, and she said, "I want to work for Cointelegraph. I want to work in
Wow.
this space. This space is interesting. It's so dynamic. It's so there's such a community of building." And I was like, imagine me at 20 if I'd known that I would end up working in this like incredible space that's so focused on community and building and positive change and evolution. And I'm like, you're right. I mean, there was no way we could have studied for this.
Right. Right.
We're learning on the fly out here, but these kids are.
That's true. You're right. These coming generations now have this industry as an option that they can plan for and educate themselves for. Um,
So
yeah,
exciting.
it is
It's so
exciting.
exciting. And in my mind, I also work in other spheres.
Mhm.
I also work in finance. So in my mind, I always split it into traditional finance and alternative finance. And the fact that those two things exist is enough of a fascination for me to just be like, the options are infinite.
Yeah,
Yes.
and what you said also about what makes this industry special remains true, I think, for most people who find their way here, of that positivity and that sense of community. I mean, so much of the projects that are being developed really are trying to make things better, I mean, more accessible, allowing people to own their own value. Um, and that's inspiring to, yeah, be part of that kind of
Absolutely, absolutely. There's
development.
I think if I was going to give someone advice on how to kind of enter the world of blockchain professionally, I would be get involved in building something, join a community. You're going to be welcomed, build your network, do the kinds of things that, you can do the things that your heroes are doing. There's nothing stopping you. It's such a democratized space that it's like you actually don't need a tons of startup capital. You know what? If you want to build something like build an app or build a D app or do something like that or just stack sats, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you're building something, you're part of that community and you're so welcomed in that community that yeah. I mean, for me, I think about it now, like at the first my first like kind of foray into it. I think I was the only woman at a meetup. Now it's very different. I'm like, male dominated industry for who? Where is that? My CEO is a woman. Many major CEOs in the crypto space, the dogs have joined, by the way, as a woman. And I'm like, the tech bro kind of narrative is
It's changing. It's being
changing.
replaced. Yeah. No,
Love
that's
it.
that's really good to hear. And I mean, similar. I mean, I have worked the last almost 9 years at a PR company that's yeah, founded, owned by Kelly Weaver, a female founder, and the majority of us are women. And likewise, I mean, we work with a lot of thought leaders and founders in the space that are women now. So it does kind of feel like that narrative is. I mean, of course, we always want to increase involvement and promote sort of women getting involved in tech, but it's very different from a decade ago.
Oh no, it's very, very different. And I feel like there's so much movement. Just so you know, my dogs are making a guest appearance over here. For our
I'm
listeners,
filtering
I'm
out the
ruled by
noise, so
I'm
I'm
ruled
not
by two
hearing too
dogs.
much.
No, they're just kind of leaping and laughing about. Um, they will probably stick their faces in the screen shortly. Um, there is so much of that. There was so much of that kind of crypto bro atmosphere, and but it feels like, and also the other side of that, there was this rush of scams. And I feel like the industry is maturing and the sector is maturing so well that those things are being flushed out. And it's just incredible. It's incredible. But there again, that's why I'm saying it's such a wonderful space, because it's community and it's building and it's constantly evolving. Like there's never a week where I'm not learning something new. And I'm really, really grateful for that. I love having my brain stretched that way. Um, and I'm lucky at Opinion because I get to hear and learn about so much from so many people.
Yeah. Well,
That-
let's talk more about, yeah, your role as opinion editor. What do you look for in, the types of pieces that that you end up featuring? What works best for those opinion pieces, and what's resonating with, the Cointelegraph readers today?
So I'm quite, this, I'm quite pedantic. I have beautiful sets of op-ed guidelines. If you follow the op-ed guidelines, pull it bullet point by bullet point, it's going to get reviewed and you are probably going to get published. Okay. You probably are. It's really that simple. You would be amazed at how many people just blank faces. I'm just like, so that's the most frustrating part of my job. Okay.
Yeah, people
Is
have
where
to
I'm
look
like,
at those guidelines and follow
yeah,
them.
like, I haven't sent you these because I needed to send you an email. I'm sending them to you because I actually want to help you. Opinion is extremely, and I dare say the most collaborative place to work, because I'm working with authors and I'm working with agencies, because we all actually want to get those pieces published. Okay. It's not possible to, but the least we can do is just the bare minimum of stick to the op-ed guidelines. So that's the most, I don't know, the most irritating part for me, I suppose, is I'm just like, guys, I'm just asking you to do the bare minimum so that I can work with you. And then I really battle with hurting people's feelings. Okay. All right, I'm growing a thicker skin, I will say that, but I can't accept every op-ed. Okay. And the reasons often why, okay, well, first of all, if you didn't follow the op-ed guidelines, and you've been given them, then number two, yeah, that's an easy one. Number two, we'll get back to, I'm leaving the big one for number three. Number two is simply because things in our environment go in cycles. So everyone has an opinion about the same thing. Now, I can only publish so many opinion pieces on stablecoins. Okay. Right. There are only so many perspectives on stable. And I'm just using that one as an example, because that's been the theme this week. Okay. Like two weeks ago it was AR. And then a couple of weeks, a couple of months ago, it was RWA tokenization. At one stage, I remember with the RWA tokenization glut, I had 27 pitches all on the same topic from different people. And I already had 5 op-eds lined up for like the coming kind of month cycle and planned out on RWA tokenization. And I was like, no, I can no longer do this.
That's
So that's
perspective for people to understand, how many pitches you're receiving and the importance of really differentiating your point of view.
okay. That's where I love a differentiated view. Please give me something. The op-eds that perform really well are the ones that present the most intriguing connections. There was one we published recently about farmers who in Africa who are moving to stablecoin payments because it's so much easier to get paid in stablecoins than using traditional finance mechanisms. um, there was another one we did on blockchain and food safety, and like that kind of stuff. I'm just like, it blows my mind when someone comes along and they're like, I've got this incredible op-ed, da, 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 here it is. And I'm like, I mean, it was that one was all about honey, and I was just fascinated because, and that's the thing, like, if I'm fascinated, I'm willing to bet my readers will be too. And what we found what we have found. I hope you don't mind having a guest star. Good
Oh,
day. Say hello, Yoda.
oh my gosh. Wow.
Hello,
What
Yoda.
a beauty.
He would like to be a guest star. Thank you. Now I've paid you attention. He just wants to hold my paw. It is sometimes readership numbers are necessarily an indicator of an amazing op-ed. Sometimes they are. I have at least once a month, there is one op-ed we publish when it gets to publication, and I'm so surprised. It just goes like parabolic, and I'm like, how? I mean, it's wonderful, don't get me wrong. And it's almost always the ones that are like, nobody's talking about this.
Oh, interesting. So it's not the ones that are sort of jumping on the bandwagon of whatever is trending currently.
No,
It's something totally
it'll be
unexpected.
it'll be like a contrarian view. It'll be something like that, and it's like without fail, I call them my monthly outliers. Those will be the ones, and I'm like, and the thing is, I can never predict it. I sometimes get a feeling, but I can never predict it. And then the last point, okay, and you know what I'm going to say here because we've discussed this, I think. I'd like everyone to know if they learn anything from this podcast episode. I love you all very much, but AI is a tool. It is not a replacement for your work. Okay. AI is a tool. Use it as a tool. I'm not saying don't use AI. I use AI. We all use AI. We should all be using AI. Okay. But it is a tool. So when you send me an op-ed that I can clearly see was written by ChatGPT, I am not going to give a byline to ChatGPT. And that we are really, really, really that is a fundamental part of the op-ed process for me. I will not give editorial space to what someone's like prompt response was. And it happens all the time. And I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry. Okay. AI is a tool. Use the tool. Don't be lazy. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, that does seem really important and, of course, relevant to what's happening today. Because, and particularly for op-eds, as you said, because the purpose is for us to hear directly from a person what their perspective is,
Yes,
not from a
absolutely.
robot. You know,
I
um,
don't I don't need to be asking DeepSeek or Perplexity or something like that. I mean, I can go ask Perplexity for an opinion, or I can go ask Gemini Advanced to do a deep research for me. I can go do that. People are not coming to Cointelegraph for that, and if they are, they're looking in the wrong place. Um, and yeah, it baffles me. It baffles me, and it did take me quite a while from when I started to realize how many people were just okay with doing this.
Yeah. No, I mean that would be a massive disappointment if I mean we lean on publications like Cointelegraph to maintain that sort of standard of we want to hear from humans here because that would be yeah, just disappointing if all of a sudden all the content available to us was from the perspective of and drafted by AI. I mean, where's the place of the human perspective in that world, you know?
I think the most hilarious situation I've ever had in that is having someone fight me on it.
Oh,
Okay. And
okay.
they deny that they've used AI. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
However, okay, now there's lots of telltale signs, all right, and there's tools and trackers you can use, but they're not foolproof. I also have extensively experienced in editorial. I'm not new. I know. Okay, I know what I know. I didn't land here from space. I do know what I'm doing in this job. And they fought me, and they were like, "No, I didn't use AI to do this." So I said, "That's hilarious because do you know that it's got the Perplexity prompt at the end? When you copy and paste it out, it says answer from Perplexity." I was like, "It's at the end of the document," and he was like, "No, it's not." He went into the shared doc and deleted it, and I was like,
Like there's a history in these documents as well.
So yeah. So no, so yeah, no, it is interesting. I love my job. Love my job. Just so much exposure to such interesting people. But wow, some people can fight, hey? Like guys, I make a decision for a reason. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to work with agencies who are like, we understand that. Yeah, totally, we get that. And I don't necessarily expect everyone to agree with me, but I do make an editorial decision. Number one, with the backing of my team, and number two, like for a reason. I'm always very particular when I decline a pitch to give a reason, and I think I'm kind about it. Most of the time, it's totally okay. But every now and again, I'll get like some snotty reply, and I'll be like, "Are you guys
Yeah,
okay?"
and that's not going to help people
That's not relationship building. No, and it's like I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just
not
assume
helping
you're
you
that's it.
to
Yeah,
be rude. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy. No. So yeah, sounds like big lesson for anyone listening. Of course, you can use AI as a tool, but the piece cannot be written by AI, right? How can they use it? Like as a like how do you use AI in your
Okay, so I rely on AI to, well, I don't rely on it. I use it as a tool. Okay, so I like to think of it as kind of a brain box thinking. So there's so many different iterations and models and apps and this and what have you. And my ex-husband, the good one, that's another funny story. He is obsessed with AI as well, and we share two dogs as well. So we are very close. He's an incredible stepfather to my child. He's the best. He's just wonderful. So we chat AI all the time. So every time that a new model comes out or a new feature or something like that, he's constantly like, "Gotta try it out." Oh god, okay. He's the one. He's like my little brain box. And so I'm constantly experimenting with it because he's on my case. And he's like, you must try this. Okay. Number one, I use it to experiment. I use it to kind of brain box. I use it to find a structure in a thinking. So like I might be like looking at uh, what's a great example. I'm currently writing a quite an important piece on Bitcoin mining in Africa and how it is being used to stabilize energy grids. So I'm like, cool, tell me the name of 3 projects that are involved in that, because it saves me a Google. Okay. But then I'm like, then it's like, cool, these are them. Okay, cool. Now I have those names. Let me go Google them and see what they're up to. You know, that kind of stuff. It's a tool. It can't replace you. Like the human essence can't be replaced. I do use it to like help me find structure in things, in my personal writing because I've always like many years ago, when I was very young and very naive, I thought I would one day grow up to be a poet. So I do still do a lot of creative writing as a hobby. So I often use that to find structure. Um, and yeah, it is. I mean, the AI for me is a great tool. Okay. But it is always going to be a tool.
No, so as a way to help with research, it sounds like,
Oh,
and yeah, creating structure, which does underline, I think, the importance of structure, right, in opinion pieces, especially. What else would you kind of share with listeners about the value of that?
please, please. I love that you've been able to put this thought piece together. Okay. Can it have subheadings? Can you put your primary argument at the top? It's got to be a hook. If you want someone else to read your opinion, tell them what they're going to be reading about. It's up here. It's in the guidelines.
Say that. Yes, like you do have I think it's at the top of those guidelines, there must be a strong argument that can be argued for or against, right?
Yes. And please argue for or against it. Don't give me 2 sides of an argument.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I'd love to get your take on just the place of opinion in kind of the media landscape and across content available to us as well, because even outside of crypto, it seems like there's sort of a there's been like downward slide away from straight news reporting in some respects, and a lot of people sharing opinions. And so in some ways there's a need for more, okay, let's share the facts and be accurate. But there's also like, what's your perspective on the place of opinion? Because it seems when it's done right, it's a really important and valuable responsibility for authors to kind of do it well.
I know that this is going to sound funny, but a really good opinion is based on facts.
Right.
Okay. You can't, the two cannot be like, they can't be undone. They can't be untangled. If you're going to have an opinion and you're going to have an argument, substantiate it, and substantiate it with the facts. Okay. Like, people want to tell me that Bitcoin QR codes are the next best way to make crypto payments. State it with state that and back it up with a fact. And the reason why we have, and I believe this is very personal, a glut of non-factual information floating around the world is purely because facts that are made up are not real, number one. And number two, everyone has a right to an opinion, but that does not necessarily mean that they can enforce it on everyone else. And I think that we've kind of fallen into the trap of, because there's a very big difference between free speech and facts. Okay, free speech is incredible. Free speech is enshrined in the world. It is a human right. Okay, but your right to free speech doesn't like quash someone else's right to exist.
Yeah.
And that for me is a huge problem.
Still be wrong, right? If they're sharing something stating something as a fact that's not true, then sure, they have the right to say it per free speech, but it doesn't make them correct.
Exactly. I'm trying so hard not to repeat the phrase alternative facts, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. There is a big sort of proliferation of misinformation, and we seem to be struggling to find ways to curtail that as a society.
And it is a significant problem. And people will say, peddlers of misinformation will say, no, it's my right to free speech. And I'm like, no, dude, you're a dude on a forum in a conspiracy forum. Secret hobby of mine is trolling conspiracy forums. Okay, secret hobby. It's actually how I relax, and it is crazy good to see how crazy people get.
Almost like reality TV or something.
It is like reality TV for me. I'm like, the Earth is not flat, but no, he's 12 pages into, and I'm like, okay, you go. And it's just like, so yeah. So disinformation and misinformation does fascinate me, especially in conspiracy theories, because I'm like, and let me be clear, some conspiracy theories have been proven to be true. That does not mean that they're all true.
Right. And still, when it comes to like opinion, if you are stating something as a fact, it needs, per your original point, needs to be substantiated. Hence the other point in the guidelines, citing, including a source.
Let's make sure that fact's real. Let's just make sure that fact's real. And I think, yeah, we do have. I mean, our hope for the internet when it all became part of our lives was that it would, enable the sharing of so much more knowledge. And it turns out that it just taught us that people are really stupid.
Yeah, that was a massive disappointment for sure. Oh boy. Yeah. No, and I guess back to kind of the role of opinion, particularly in the crypto space, it seems the other sort of great value that the really good opinion pieces provide is from experts, maybe giving us a deeper, more thoughtful view into one of these topics that perhaps everyone is talking about, or what we were talking about before, something that maybe shining a light on some facet of the crypto space that maybe no one's talking about.
Please, in my lifetime, can I just have only that in my inbox? Make that my difficult decision.
Which is really
Yeah.
interesting to hear, because something I think that us on the agency side, we tend to think about opinion pieces that are going to do well and find a home. Oh, it's got to tap into something that's trending. But that's interesting. It turns out even the pieces that perform really well, those aberrations that you were talking about, that sort of unexpectedly spike and get a lot of views, it actually sounds like it's something that no one's talking about. And it just, maybe it's because it's refreshing and gets outside of
Yeah.
what everyone.
And let me be clear. Let me be clear. What's trending and topical is important and will be covered. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not going to cover it 27 times. That's the maintaining that key diversity is really, really important for me. And it's like Trump and his tariffs was another one. I was like, guys, everyone knows that Trump is levying tariffs on countries. How else do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So it really needs to be a unique standpoint, or go deeper into the impact of the tariffs, or something, right?
Something like, please, like do something. I'll give you an example that of an op-ed that's coming up. Actually, someone did, and it's one that I let through that is tariff related. He did a whole analysis on the semiconductor. Now that is like the tiniest piece in the blockchain industry, and he niched it right down, and he spoke about the effect of the tariffs on the semiconductor and how that's going to work. And I'm like, yes, thank you,
Did it
thank
right.
you. You have niched it. You have got it there. It's literally like, I mean, how big are they? And I'm like, yes, okay, that's going to publication. Because it's so fascinating, because it's an angle that no one else was talking about. Everyone was going, in my inbox was going like, tariffs, 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 industry, industry, industry. And this guy was like, I'm going to talk about this semiconductor. And I'm like, yeah, you are.
That's a really good example. And yeah, I mean, that's helpful for PR professionals, I think, like myself as well, to have context on what other sort of tips or advice would you give PR professionals who are sort of trying to help guide the thought leaders that they work with on how to position their pieces, or just
Okay.
and how to interact with you.
Well,
Tell us.
interacting with me is fine. It's all good. Stick it on the email. I just have to say, I admire you guys so much, because I have no idea how you do your jobs. Okay. I don't know. I don't think I would have the patience and the coordination skills. So, serious props to you. Huge kudos. And just well done, because you do it like, it's incredible. It is a complete mystery to me. Complete. A very, very good friend of mine is a senior PR professional, and I still look at her every day and I go like, is it magic? Do you like twirl a wand? What is it? Because how? But yes, I'm generally easy to get along with. I'm not gonna lie, I can be persuaded with dog pictures. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is helpful to know. So
I'm
should
very
we
much,
send the
I'm
dog
very much,
picture along with the pitch?
yes, I'm very much into the relationship building, because, as I say, opinion is a collaborative experience. Okay. I can't get a good opinion piece out without having worked with someone who's willing to work with me. Okay. 'Cause I do want to, like, I'm not a total cow. I do want these opinion pieces published. I do want your clients to have the great outcomes. I do. And so I'm a huge believer in the personal as the professional. So I'm always going to have try to create or try to generate a personal connection with the people that I get to work with, because I'm very lucky to. I'm really so lucky to. One of the first things I did after joining Cointelegraph was do a workshop with a PR agency, just so that they could get along and get like kind of learn. Listen, this is the process. This is who I am. Let's talk. Let's have a cup of coffee together, albeit virtually. Let's chat. And those are the relationships that work. They do not guarantee the op-ed will be published.
Right. That's
Right.
a good clarification. Yep.
It
Still
does not get
meet the
does-
guidelines.
Yeah, we've still got to go through an editorial process, but relationship building is what enables so much better collaborative working, so much better, it's always going to lead to better outcomes for all of us. I know that the quality of what we're putting out, I can rely on so many exceptional PR professionals who send me like incredible pictures and comprehensive ones and that kind of stuff. And I need to be able to rely on that because it's my job. So it's not just a situation of like me sitting there going, no, yes, no. It's me genuinely wanting to build a relationship with everyone who comes into my inbox, because, I may have to decline this pitch now, but the next one may just hit the spot. And I don't believe in being, there's no reason for anyone to be anything other than friendly. So yes, I confess I have sent pictures of my dogs to PR professionals. I talk to some of my authors about my love for tea, and I've got another PR professional I work with. We send each other our weekly watch lists of what we're watching on Netflix this week. And that's while we're getting the work done. Okay, it is. We're here. We're not here to like be terribly boring, and we don't have to just stick to what we have to get done. Let's build a relationship. Please build a relationship. That's why I'm so grateful for you and your team, Nikki, because we have built a relationship. And I'm just like, and I know I can pop you an email. And that's the other thing, is like, if I'm looking for an op-ed or I'm looking for expert comments, I have my roster of people where I go, okay, guys, I need an expert comment on a new policy that's come out of somewhere. And I know that you guys are going to go out and search for it. And you're going to be like, yes, who's the best client? And I'm so grateful. But you see, that's collaborative.
Right back at you. I can attest that you're incredibly collaborative in your approach, and that's so appreciated. And also, thank you for your sort of respect for the PR professionals.
Massive respect.
There's certainly those in journalism, let's say, who are not appreciative of what we do, and it's and that can make it tough. But of course, all we're trying to do is the same thing that you've expressed of building those relationships, and hopefully all working towards that same aim of getting great stories and opinions and content out there for people.
Absolutely.
To be
we're not here to have a bad time, guys. Let's have while we're doing it,
Yeah, and it also kind of connects back to what we were talking about with AI. We might as well be human in the process of doing our jobs, right? And
like, I'm genuinely stroking my dog's belly, because if I don't, he's going to bark while we're doing this podcast. Okay, he's my needy husband.
Oh,
and this is why I don't have a husband. I have a husband. He's my Yoda is my needy husband. He must be paid attention to at all times.
Yes, our animals are so important for our humanity.
Yes, I have 4 rescue dogs, and 2 of them live with the good ex-husband, and the other 2 live with me. And animals are an essential part of our lives and our well-being. So yes, always send Cath dog pics. If you have a dog, send me a picture of your dog. I also accept pictures of cats and weird pets.
Okay.
Yes.
I take it this has
Yes.
happened before then.
Yeah.
That's great.
A friend of mine discovered the other day that her parrot speaks French. So, breaking news. Here's the pitch. But by the way, my parrot speaks French. I only learned that today. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think it's a helpful sort of reminder for everyone just in crypto, just kind of going back to what we were talking about in terms of how this industry is distinct. Even though this is like cutting edge technology, the purpose of it is to try to help us live our human lives better. So we would do well to not forget our humanity and to continue to connect with each other and be personable and collaborative, because isn't that the point of everything we're trying to do, whether it's
It's about
building
the ethos of
technology
like industry. Yes, I know.
yeah.
I know. And I really am. I do feel extremely privileged to be in the position that I'm in, and I don't take it for granted. Um, I guard it very preciously, and I guard the relationships that are built there very, very closely and very preciously indeed, because ultimately, at the end of it all, we are the humanity we are the humanity we live. We are not the humanity that hates. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to live in a world that where hate is
The
louder than
default.
love.
That's a very positive view, and yeah, I would agree with you. We have to hold on to that.
Oh my gosh, please. Even if it means sending dog pictures.
Yes, yes, that is part of it for sure. Cath, we've spoken about so much here. The value of sharing our love of animals, and what makes a great opinion piece, the importance of relationships, how to navigate AI. As we're sort of wrapping up here, is there anything else that comes to mind that you'd like to share with our listeners?
So long as you include Yoda in this piece, I don't mind whatsoever. Thank you. I just want to say, Nikki, thank you so much for having me. I went and had a look at your guest list before when you invited me to be on this podcast, your previous guests and previous seasons, and I got a bit of stage fright. So I was like, and she wants me on it. Me?
Oh, but you have such an important role in the industry, so that's very humble of you.
I a little bit of imposter syndrome. So I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for being a really great example of how to work collaboratively. And thank you for just enabling so many great stories to be told. Because ultimately we are our stories. And it is a privilege to be able to be part of that storytelling world. Especially in the crypto and blockchain space, because we have so many incredible stories to tell. We must keep telling our stories.
I love ending on that message, and thank you, Cath. Those words mean so much coming from you, and just to say it again, I'm so grateful for our relationship, and I would say friendship through sharing some personal anecdotes, and going beyond the work to share bits of ourselves through the process. And that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening, and until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Proof of PR. This episode was brought to you by Bitwire.com, the modern newswire reimagined for today's comms professionals. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen today. To stay up to date on upcoming guests and news, visit proofofpr.com or follow us on Twitter at proofofpr. Until next time, keep learning, innovating, and hodling.